All right, buckle up, because today we're going deep, and I mean deep, into the world of AI. But we're not just talking about the cool stuff, the flashy headlines. We're going right for the heart of the matter. The risks, the limitations, the stuff that keeps tech experts up at night. And you obviously get this because the article you sent over, AI Risks and Limitations, that's where it's at.
It's like everybody loves the idea of self-driving cars, yeah.
But someone better make sure those brakes really work before we all jump in. And let me tell you, this article does not mess around. It lays out some scenarios that truly make you stop and think, hold on, are you serious? Like, did you know that sometimes AI can just straight up make things up?
Ah, yes. Hallucinations. Not as fun as it sounds, believe me. Imagine an AI, totally convinced it's right, diagnosing a patient with a condition that doesn't even exist. Not really the medical breakthrough we were all hoping for, right?
And the thing is, this isn't some theoretical bug. This actually happened.
Yeah.
There was this case, an AI trained to spot tumors in medical images. Turns out the data they used, it mostly had pictures of these really severe advanced tumors. So guess what happened?
The AI kind of got a little too good at its job. Started flagging any tumor with similar features as dangerous, even the totally harmless ones. Talk about a misdiagnosis with some serious consequences.
It's like teaching a kid to ride a bike in an empty parking lot. Then you toss them down a mountain and yell, good luck.
Exactly. This actually highlights a huge point the article dives into: the absolute necessity for diverse data, and tons of it. If we're going to rely on AI for the big stuff, the important tasks, it needs to be exposed to every possibility, not just a small sliver.
Okay, so how do we actually avoid these AI hallucinations? Is it just about feeding it better data, more data, or is there more to it?
That's definitely a huge part of it. But the article also makes it clear we need what they call human-in-the-loop systems. Basically, AI making life or death decisions without a human expert checking its work. No way.
Right, especially now in these early stages. It's like you wouldn't let a student pilot land a plane full of passengers without a seasoned captain right there, would you? You need someone who can grab the controls if things go south.
Exactly. Human oversight, especially in things like healthcare, finance, those are non-negotiables if we want AI to actually be a force for good. But, even with great data and people watching carefully, AI has another little quirk that can trip us up: overfitting.
Overfitting. Okay, that one sounds like a bad workout, not gonna lie.
It's more like, imagine that student again. They memorize the textbook, every word, they're going to ace that test, no problem, right? Except when they encounter a problem in the real world, they freeze.
Because they don't actually understand the material, they just learn to spit it back out.
Yeah.
So how do we make AI more adaptable? Less like a robot memorizing, more like a human who can think on their feet.
Well, one big thing the article highlights is using tons of different data sets for training and testing these AIs. Don't just give them the same questions over and over. Throw in some curveballs. See if they can apply what they've learned to new situations.
Makes sense. And I'm guessing that ties into another biggie the article brings up, AI bias. Because if the data we use to train the AI is messed up, the AI's decisions will be messed up too, right?
Exactly. It's like teaching someone to cook using only recipes from one tiny region. They might be amazing at that one cuisine, but completely lost when it comes to anything else.
And this article doesn't shy away from how serious this is in the real world. It talks about AI being used for things like hiring, loans, even criminal justice, and how biases in the data can lead to totally unfair outcomes.
It's true. Imagine an AI deciding who gets a loan, but it was trained on data that reflects existing inequalities. What happens? It might keep reinforcing those same inequalities without even meaning to.
We're talking about making societal biases even worse on a huge scale. It's
Uh,
like we want AI to help us build a better future, but if we're not careful, we could just end up recreating the same problems.
Which is why, as the article points out, it's not enough to just make the data better or tweak the AI a little. We need to really rethink how we build these systems from the ground up.
It's not just a tech problem, it's a human problem. And speaking of the human element, the article digs into something else that's pretty complex, the technical limitations of AI. Because even when we get the data right and address the bias issue, it's still not all smooth sailing, right?
Right. There's the whole black box problem. You get these super complex AI models, and sometimes even the people who design them don't fully get why the AI made a particular decision.
So we've got AI making these huge decisions, but we don't always know the why behind those decisions. That's a little unnerving, to say the least.
Especially in something like healthcare, right? Imagine an AI recommends a treatment plan, but no one, not even the doctors, can fully explain how it got to that recommendation. Trusting a black box with life-altering decisions. That's a tough one.
It's like we're handing over control, but we're not even sure where we're going. So what's the solution? Do we just have to accept that we can't understand how AI works?
Not necessarily. The article talks about this new field, explainable AI or XAI. It's about building AI models that are more transparent so humans can actually understand them.
So kind of like building a window into that black box so we can peek inside.
Yeah, exactly. Like if a doctor said, you need surgery, you'd want to know why, right? What's the diagnosis? What are the risks? What are the other options? We should expect that same level of transparency from AI.
Okay, so XAI. Got it. Definitely seems like a step in the right direction.
Huh.
But the article doesn't stop there. It goes on to talk about something even more unsettling. AI being used for bad stuff. And I'm not talking about a robot uprising, but
Right, and this is where things get a little more intense. We're talking about deep fakes so convincing they could rewrite history, or AI spreading misinformation so effectively it could influence elections and cause chaos.
okay, now those are some Black Mirror vibes right there.
It's a real concern, no doubt. And the article doesn't sugarcoat the potential consequences, but it also says we're not powerless. We need to be talking about this, raising awareness, pushing for ethical guidelines and regulations. We can make sure AI is used responsibly, but we got to act.
This is a lot to unpack for sure, and we're just scratching the surface here in part one of our deep dive. But before we move on, what about this article really stood out to you? What got you thinking?
Honestly, it's the sheer scale of what AI could do, good and bad. This isn't just about faster phones or better search results. This could change everything about how humans live, work, interact. But it also comes with a whole new set of risks and challenges that we're just starting to wrap our heads around.
What about this article really stood out to you? What got you thinking?
Honestly, it's the sheer scale of what AI could do, good and bad. This isn't just about faster phones or better search results. This could change everything about how humans live, work, interact. But it also comes with a whole new set of risks and challenges that we're just starting to wrap our heads around.
It's like we found this incredibly powerful tool, but we're still figuring out the instruction manual, you know? And that's what makes this whole conversation so important.